Hello and welcome back to the studio, everyone. My name is Carson, as always, and this is K2 Productions. Today, we are going to be finishing the Fives ARC Trooper helmet. I'm so excited for you guys to see the finished project. I know you've seen it in the thumbnails, just this little picture, and on my Instagram if you've been over there, or on my Twitter. But you finally get to see the true finished project. I'm so excited for you guys to see everything. Today, I'm going to show you how to weather it. I think I paint one more thing. Yes, we paint one more thing. And we're going to put the visor in here and the mesh behind the teeth. And that is it. We will be done. So definitely stay tuned, guys. And let's go check it out. If you haven't watched the rest of the videos, I'll put the link right here or down in the description. But let's go. Alright, so guys, it's the next day now. Everything is all glued together. I got this guy on, these guys are on, the earpiece is on over here. But after I was just kind of looking on my phone, and after further research, I found this. So I follow this guy on Instagram called Sam Oil Love Art. Samoylov Art. He's from like Russia or something like that. This is what his page is. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description. But he makes like really incredible custom helmets. So I was looking on there and I couldn't help. I found a couple Fives pictures. So here's one of them. It's a phase 2 realistic version of him, and he puts the black band on it, and he also has the gray on that underside little cutaway thing. So, and I've been kind of having trouble trying to decide which one, if I should add those into it. So, like, here is a picture with the realistic version. I'm sorry, I can't stop moving. With the realistic version and the Clone Wars version. And so, I think what I've decided is that I'm going to paint those. I don't know, it just looks too white to me. I think there's too much white. I don't know. But it won't be hard to paint. I'm just gonna I just get to, tape off this thing and tape off this section. And I'm gonna paint it this color gray in this section, in this part, and like real, dark black in this part. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna tape everything off real quick, and then once that paint is done drying, then we're actually going to finally weather. Even though I've said we're going to weather like 8,000 times, we're actually finally going to weather after this next one. Right, so this is all dry. Looks like he's wearing a hood. So now we're gonna peel it off and hopefully it all looks good. I didn't take that great of care of some of the other ones, but this is like a fairly simple concept compared to a lot of the other ones. So hopefully everything is fine. We'll see. Okay. I'm getting to a mass pile of blue tape and paper balls over here. Alright, let's see how we're looking at it. Here, oh, sorry, you guys much too. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Very happy with that. Oh yeah, look at that beautiful clean line. Oh yeah, I'm happy. Please be nice and good on this side too. The only place that I'm a little worried, I'm a little bit worried about this side, the bottom edge. But I'm also worried about the back where it goes right around the worm, or the design, whatever you want to call it. It's an eel. It's something eel, a K-word eel. I can't remember. Let's take a look. Oh, very good. Very nice. Look at that. Stuff's right there. That's good stuff. Peel all this off. Oh yeah, real nice. Very happy with that side. Hopefully this side looks just as good. I did, when I was taping it, I overlapped the blue just like the tiniest bit because I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't a white gap in between the blue and the gray. So a tip for you guys. Whew. Dang, that was good. That's really nice. Very, very nice. So now the next step is to do basically the exact same thing. I'm going to tape off everything for the little brow headband thing. So, wow, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think it'll be good to put this stuff on it. I think my helmet, I think it just looks too white. I mean, I know it'll get grayed out when I weather it, but I think this and this will add a lot to it. So now I'm going to set it up another time lapse, and I'm going to tape off this whole black section. So now you get to watch me do that. Alright, so I finished taping up my big circle. You can see right there, looks like he's got a big cone on his head. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to, you know, like I've done before, kind of go around all the edges. Make sure they all look good and they're where I want them to be. And that they're nice and flat down and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm just going to very lightly dust it on. And I'm gonna do the last one I did. I only did like one coat, you know, around the sides with the light gray. But with this one, I'm actually gonna do. I'm gonna do it, you know, spray a little lighter, and actually try and probably do, you know, like 2 or 3 coats. We've got that all sprayed down. Sorry, couldn't really see much of that. We've got that all sprayed down, so I'm going to let it dry, and I'll come back in a couple minutes. Alright, guys, so my band is all nice and dry. So we're going to peel it all off, and hopefully it all looks good. So, we shall see how it goes. So we're going to peel it off again. We'll see how it goes. I did put 2 coats. I put 2 coats on it. I sprayed one kind of lightly, and then I let it dry, and then I came back out here like, you know, 4 minutes later or whatever, and then I sprayed it again. So hopefully this all looks really good together. Pretty excited. You know, I think it's hopefully you're satisfied. Oh. That's pretty promising. Everything's looking really great so far. Yeah. So far, it looks just a little bit funny, but you can see. I'm going to get a shirt. I'll probably buy that. Very good, and go ahead and notice it. Oop, I'll try it. Alright. There we go. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Look at that here. Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Yeah. Okay. Get this right off. Okay. One. And it's like Christmas morning on my floor. I got just a huge pile of I got a huge pile of used newspapers from this. Wow. Check that out. There we go. Wow. I am super satisfied with that. That looks so good. So the only bit of overspray that we got, so this side looks really good. This side is a little funny. So I'm either going to weather that. Oh, there's a piece of tape. So I'm either going to weather that spot a little bit better, a little bit more, or honestly, I could just take a Sharpie and just... But this is the only bit of overspray that we got. I must have missed that somehow. So there's a little black spot. But otherwise, everything looks really great. Let's see. We can pull up that picture for a comparison. So here's my helmet. Here's the picture. They look basically exactly the same. Very happy with that. Sorry, I can't hold it still at all. There. That one, our helmet. Oh yeah. Very satisfied. So now we are literally done. All we have to do is put our thingy back on. We'll reattach this guy, and I got a visor coming in the mail. I don't have it coming in the mail. I haven't ordered it yet. So basically, I've been looking on Galactic Armor uses grinding shields. I've been looking on Amazon and stuff, and I found this one that I liked, but it says dark green. It looks black, but it says dark green, and I do not want to order it and it be dark green, because some of that'd be cool. Like the Stormtrooper helmets, I'm pretty sure they use dark green on some of them. Maybe can't remember, but this is Fives. He's supposed to be blue and white and black and stuff, and it would not be good with dark green. So I'm having a little bit of a dilemma right now for that. I just have to figure that out. But other than that, we're gonna put the visor in, put the mesh behind here, and weather it, and that is all we have left. So I'm actually going to weather it next. I'm preparing it right now. I'm putting this together because it needs to be weathered with this on. So that is what we will move on to next. There we go, though. That is one shiny Fives ARC Trooper helmet. Brand new ARC Trooper. He's a shiny right now. Look at that. I'm so satisfied with that. Alright, so we're finally on to the weathering stage. So I'm inside now, not in my garage. And so I have this big piece of cardboard laid out. And then I have some paintbrushes. And I have black and silver because I didn't know if I wanted to touch up my aerators or not. And then I have a rag and a cup of water. And then I have this 36 grit sandpaper that we're going to use to make some scratches and scuffs on it. But basically, the way weathering was described to me the first time anyway, is you pretty much just try and cover it in dirt, and then you try and clean it as best as you can. Because when you try and clean it, there are all these little, corners and stuff that you can't get to. And that's where all the dirt is going to collect anyway. And then you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until you think it's dirty enough. Or, if you don't want it to be that dirty, you just do it a little bit. But that's where they're all going to collect, because it won't just collect on these clean spots. But they will start darkening as we're weathering it. But they won't collect there. It'll collect, in these creases right here, and in these corners, and in these, in the tops of the rangefinder and stuff like that. So basically, that's what we're gonna do. I have this little thing of water right here, and I'm literally just gonna take some of my black paint and put it in there. And you can put as much black paint as you want in there, depending on how dark you want your weathering to be. I only put a little bit in there just because I want it to be this nice, just really dirty black water, basically. And then we're literally just going to start covering the helmet with it. So we're just going to cover it all, just choose sections at a time, kind of, because it'll dry a little bit too quickly. Because you don't want it to look like this. This is just water. And paint it all kind of over. And then you use our rag. And you just kind of dab it away. And depending on how dark you want it, depends on how much you leave. So when I wipe right here, you can see I can't get into that crease very well. So it's going to stay. So you can see, well, on my point of view, you can see a lot more, but on the camera, not so much. But yeah, you're just gonna start just keep adding layers and layers and layers, and then wiping them away, and then adding more layers, and then wiping them away, and adding more layers, and wiping them away, until you think it looks dirty enough. So that's the first step. We're just gonna dirty it up as best as we can. And then next we'll be using the sandpaper to kind of give us some battle damage and scratches. Just another side note, the longer you leave the paint on, the more it'll stay. So like if I paint all this stuff on and I let it sit for a while, I won't be able to wipe off a lot of it. So if you want, it to kind of stay a little bit more, then you can let it sit for just a little bit, and it'll kind of stain your stuff a little bit better before you wipe it all completely off. Alright, so I think I'm satisfied with my weathering. You gotta kind of look closely on camera to notice it. Oh yeah, see there, you can see a lot of it. From out here, it really doesn't look like I did anything. Off camera, I promise it looks like you can see a lot more. Like when you see up close, that's what it looks like in real, like to me. So you can see I still gotta wipe away some of these, like water drippy spots. You don't want it to look like that, but you can see like in my corners, I have lots of, gunk in them, or dirt, grime, whatever you want to call it. And I kind of, I dirtied up this whole area pretty good so that those little seep misses kind of things that we got are kind of covered up. This area is all nice and dark and weathered. In the corners up there. Got it back here in those corners. So everything's nice and battle dirty and stuff now. So now the last thing that we're gonna do is I have some 36 grit sandpaper, and we're just gonna give it like a couple really nice light scuffs. Just kind of, scratch the paint off a little bit. So ideally you can pick places that you messed up the paint with a little bit. So like here you can see I bled just ever so slightly. So I'm just going to give it like a little couple scuffs there. And now it blends in a little bit more. It might, maybe it looks like he got shot with a laser or something. So you can kind of just give a couple, and then kind of give some kind of where the helmet's going to hit stuff more often. Like hard edges, like especially on the fin. And you can give one, like in the middle somewhere. Or like here, I have a little bit of paint seepage, so I'm just gonna give it a little scratch right there, like right there. You can kind of paint your fingernails too. Or like here. And I think it's underneath the white primer, so if you scrape away the primer a little bit, there's right underneath of it, so it's alright if you scrape it away a little bit because it still looks natural. So I'll just give it like a right there. You can kind of pick it, you see, kind of come off on the edge, make it look a little more naturally. So I got the scratch over here, and then you can put one on these guys. Oh, actually, no, these are Visor stripes they have on them. So I'm gonna assume they're paint. I'm gonna give them a scratch or two. There, and you don't really want to I mean, you can do it as much as you want, but you don't really want to overdo it too much. And I know it looks like on here, I barely even did anything, but here you can see this scuff mark, you know, now looks a lot more natural. There's where I accidentally, you know, the tape didn't stay, but now it looks a lot more natural because it's got that little scrape. You know, I put some little scrapes here on the hard edges of these guys. Scrape right there on the edge. A couple on this back piece right here. Also, this blue is a lot darker in person too. It looks so, I think it's because I'm sitting in front of a window, so it looks so bright. But then, yeah, you can see up here, give it a couple scratches right here. So now there are just, you know, some scratches here and there on it for it to look a little bit more natural. But I think we're pretty much done with the paint. And now I'm just waiting for my visor to come in and we'll put that on as well. Okay, so I ordered this a while ago. And well, not a while ago, like you know, a couple days ago, and it came in. You can see it's actually the way you see through is green. It's very interesting, but it's black. Like it totally looks black. Um, but it is kind of hard to see through. It's pretty dark. But anyway, this is a grinding shield from Amazon. It was like $18 or whatever. This is what Galactic Armory suggests. I don't know if it's maybe the best one, but this is what I tried for the first time, so we'll see what happens. It has this little aluminum thing around it, which I guess maybe like holds it in place or whatever. I'm not sure, but we're gonna be cutting out like a, you know, a T out of it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna use, I have like a piece of a newspaper, you know, scrap paper, and what I'm gonna do is put this inside of the helmet, and then I'm gonna draw with our Sharpie as best as I can somewhat outline of what it's supposed to be like around. I drew a rough outline of it, really rough. And so obviously that's going to be quite a bit smaller because I drew it, for one, with a Sharpie and through the hole. And you're going to need some more space out of, like, around the hole so that you have something to glue it on. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this with like probably a whole like inch of space around everything. And then that'll be our template. All right. So after lots of trials and errors, I came out with this, which basically I drew that first thing and cut it out, which you guys saw. And then I literally just kept putting it, inside the helmet and looking, you know, from basically I set the helmet, you know, down like this and looking from the inside. I just kept putting it inside the helmet like that, kind of. And then I used the light from my window to kind of see where the edges of my plan right now is to hot glue it in. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen, if that's gonna work or not. Okay, so you can see barely, that I did draw it out with this red Sharpie. I can see it a lot better. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try and use these scissors to cut it out. Right, so I got it cut out, and the scissors seem to be cutting fine on paper. So I hope they're all right. There, we got it in there. Basically, what I did is I just kept I'd shove it in there, and I'd see where where it didn't perfectly fit and stuff, and then I had to, you can't really see, but I got I got lots of trimmings, and I literally just I put it in there, and then I'm like, okay, so it won't go close enough to the front of the mask for me because it because of the cheek or whatever, so I'd shave a little bit down off of where the cheek is, and then I'd shove it back in, and I'd be like, okay, it doesn't fit close enough for me because of the upper brow area or whatever, and I just keep shaving off and putting it back in and shaving it off and putting it back in and shaving it off and putting it back in until I can press it right up against the edge very nicely. All right, so I finished putting on the visor. I just hot glued it in. You can see on the inside that I just basically hot glued around the edge. I actually didn't do the top. It's pretty solid in there. And I don't really plan on anybody whacking it too hard, but it is pretty solid in there, so I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. It looks pretty good. You can see the hot glue in some spots everywhere, if you look at it really closely, but other than that, I think I'm pretty happy with it. So now I have this screen material for screen doors and windows, and I'm just gonna literally cut a little bit of it. And okay, so I cut out 2 of these pieces right here, and literally what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna glue them on there like this, except on the inside, and hopefully that should be pretty solid. Okay, so I got the mesh done in there. You can barely see from the outside, but you can see there's the mesh. I tried to do it with super glue first, but that did not work. So then I used hot glue, and that was pretty easy. I just put, some hot glue kind of right on the stems or teeth, whatever, and then over here on the cheeks kind of area. And it all stays in there nice and good now. So everything is together. I'll put on the antenna, and this helmet is done. All right, guys, here it is. I am so happy to be finished with this build. I'm so happy for you guys to finally be able to see it. It's been definitely a learning experience for me. I'm super proud of this helmet, but I definitely know of things that I can do better and that I will do better next time. But other than that, I'm so proud of this helmet. I think it's just so cool. The first one I've ever finished. I'm really happy with it. That being said, if you guys have been around my channel for a little bit, you know that I was injured for a while, and this now finishing, I just very recently finished my robe build, and this build now closing out is the final footage that I've had where I was completely immobile, basically. So I don't know if I would exactly say that you should expect better quality content, but you should definitely expect a more involved and maybe slightly different style of tutorial slash build videos where I can be more involved and plan them out a little bit better now that I don't have to rely on everybody to help me with literally everything. So definitely expect some more just kind of different style and maybe more in depth and more entertaining to watch. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be different, and I'm really excited to get working on that. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm hoping to really improve on these things. I really hope you enjoyed watching this whole series. I had a blast making it. My friend who I made it for is super, super happy with it. He I'm really proud of it, and I'm so glad I got to make it for him and I got to share it with all of you guys. That being said, now that we've finished it, what should I do next? Is there anything you guys want to see from me? Um, I have more helmets printed out that I've been working on. I haven't like finished them or anything like that, but I have printed out. So I'm going to be finishing more of those. I have a Clone Commando or Republic Commando helmet, whatever you want to call it. I have one of those printed out that I really want to finish, but I don't know almost anything about them. So I would love if you guys gave me some recommendations on maybe how I can paint it, because I don't know any of the characters or anything like that. So I'll have to do some browsing, but maybe you guys can help me out. But let me know what you guys would like to see next. I'm still going to be working on my Clone Trooper armor, but now I finished this build and it kind of opens up for some more things. So other than that, if you guys haven't subscribed and you like this kind of stuff, definitely hit that subscribe button and think about sticking around for more. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button and let me know. You can comment down below just saying, hey, you liked it, or you can ask any more questions. I love to answer all of them. I love reading all the comments and answering them. So definitely do that if you guys want to. I also am on Twitter and Instagram if you guys would like to reach out to me through that. I'd love to answer any of your questions, or you want to show me something. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and show me like like clone trooper builds, or I've had a couple people reach out to me showing them their clone trooper builds, which is so awesome. I love to see when people show me things like that. It's just so it's really encouraging. And then they'll ask me questions. We'll get into this big conversation, and I teach them a lot of things, and sometimes they teach me things. So definitely, if you guys want to reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram, you can also just kind of see some behind the scenes of stuff that I've been working on, get updates on the shop, when I'm not making videos and stuff like that. The handles are at K2 Productions YT. And if you'd like to support this channel, as always, I tell you every single time, the best thing you can do is share this video with a Star Wars connoisseur like yourself. But now that this build is finished, definitely expect some new things coming to the channel, some different things. I'm really excited for you guys to all see them, for me to keep making stuff and sharing them with you guys. But thank you so much for watching and sticking around for this whole series if you have. That's really about all I have for you guys. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time here in the studio. Stay safe out there, have a good one, and get out and make something.